Now, as discussed multiple times, one of the jobs of the Reserve Bank is to maintain price stability. Yeah, good luck with that. In other words, to limit inflation. But they lie about inflation anyway. The government lies through their teeth about what the real inflation rate is. And the way you work out the real inflation rate is you look what real prices do over time. And rather than just asking, okay, what is the CPI, which is the government's official figure? Well, let's look at other measures of inflation. And there are multiple measures of real world inflation. So if you look at my gold index, that tells you that at least over a 20-year period, the real inflation rate's been 11%, because gold is another form of money. And the gold price has gone up compound 11% a year for more than 20 years. You can also look at my favourite pine lime splice index, and we've got it there. And as I've said, I remember as a kid in the early 70s, desperately scraping up 17 cents so I could buy a pine lime splice. And in that graphic, it was actually 10 cents. So that must be before 1973, which is my earliest memory. Nevertheless, 17 cents in the 70s up to $3.70 now, which is what it is. Guess what? If you plug those numbers into a compound interest calculator, that is a 10% interest rate over 52 years. There's that 10% number again. So I think the real inflation rate is 10%, not the 2 to 3% that governments admit.
Yeah. Well, they cook the books. They're the biggest book cookers around. They want come after little fellas and people that are just trying to do their bit and earn a quid, and they cook in the books all the time. They're bloody corrupt mongrels with our money, mate. With our money.
Also known as governments lie all the time about everything. Have I mentioned that in the past? I can't remember.
Just a couple of times, mate. And we're not even talking about shrinkflation either now, are we? Am I gazumping you there? Because we've talked about shrinkflation before too, haven't we?
That's not going to come up. And for those who don't know, shrinkflation is where items get smaller to hide the fact that the prices got higher. So, your pack of Wheaties, which used to be 570 grams, might look the same, but only have 370 in it. So, yeah, that's yet another way of hiding.
Yep.
Gold was 11. Splices were what? I think that was 10. Laptops are 18%. And groceries are 11%. So this story during the week from Yahoo said that the average family basket of groceries went up 11% during the year. So I've just shown you a whole lot of examples, and these are not cherry-picked. These are things that you and I buy. I do buy gold. I do buy laptops. I don't buy ice creams anymore, but I know the prices.
Don't know what you're missing.
And so that says that the real inflation rate for every single one of the four markers I've just told you, it says that it is 10, 11% a year. But the government tells us it's 2 to 3%, which is bad enough because, as I've shown, that'll steal half the value of your money over 23 years.
Bloody hell.
But if it's the real 10%, that's going to steal half the value of your money every 7 years.
Yep.
Anyway, okay. What's in summary? What's the point I'm making here? For the last 55 years, the governments have taken over the job of managing our money. And they've stuffed it up. And they've stuffed it up because governments can't manage anything, let alone the single most important thing, which is money. Because one of the jobs of the Reserve Bank is to keep prices stable. Well, prices have 20x'd in my lifetime, so it ain't stable. And that's just by official stats. That's just if you take your inflation rate, as to what they say. If you look at the real inflation rate, there's no value left in the money whatsoever. And that was the money that the government took over to manage, remember?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Anyway, rant over.